The striking transformation which decoloniality theory has undergone in the past 3 or 4 decades since it was part of dependency theory can be illustrated in the figure of the comprador. In classic dependency, the comprador bourgeoisie plays the role of an indispensable intermediary for global capitalism. A small entrepreneurial class in a country of the economic periphery, the comprador bourgeoisie makes a tidy profit facilitating the export of raw materials and the import of manufactured goods, and also pressures its government to keep up what is ultimately a detrimental practice for the country's economy. Quijano initially added to this picture the thesis that reasons of economic self-interest weren't enough to motivate the comprador behavior, and what was also present, at least among the comprador bourgeoisie in Latin America, was racial solidarity with the European core. Contemporary decoloniality theory, though it does not regularly employ the term comprador, has a clear place, and a very different place, for the comprador bourgeoisie. This is not somebody who's primarily doing business or motivated by money, but rather it is a conduit for knowledge from the core, the West, Europe or America, into the periphery. The success, writes Ndlovu Gasheni, of colonialism and coloniality in the domain of knowledge is always dependent on winning some of the colonized people to its side. The epistemic comprador are those members of a global South society who, in Ndlovu Gasheni's words, though socially located on the oppressed side of the colonial difference, think and speak epistemically like those in the dominant position, such as, Ndlovu Gasheni again, the African elites who displayed problematic colonial consciousness. Mignolo likes to describe these figures as natives who are not locals, non-Westerners who have been taught to despise their narratives and accept the true one, which is the Western local narrative, which he describes as the narrative valid for Westerners. So they are, for instance, citizens of African countries who think within the Western episteme as opposed to the African episteme. Now, just like classic dependency theory, the contemporary decoloniality theorists blame the comprador class for consigning its society to economic backwardness, dependency, and underdevelopment. But contemporary decoloniality theory's ethnie-based relativism provides it with a prior, more immediate reason to condemn the epistemic comprador. Here are thinkers and reasoners whose curiosity has led them to stray beyond a proper localism, to go beyond the pale, seeking enlightenment in ideas outside the episteme proper to their own ethnie. And here is, let me just show you, Quijano unfortunately came around to this way of thinking as an old man. He said, "Nothing is less rational finally than the pretension that the specific cosmic vision of a particular ethnie should be taken as universal rationality, even if such an ethnie is called Western Europe."